Hi, good morning.
Morning.
How are you guys today?
Fine, I'm fine, very fine.
Good, good. All right,
Morning.
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 Let's just wait one or two more minutes to see if somebody else connects, and then
Okay.
we will start.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, teacher.
No problem.
Yes.
Morning. Morning, everyone.
Morning, Charlie.
How are you, Reynaldo?
I'm fine, very fine.
Okay.
All right. Well, I guess we can start right now. And whoever connects, well, they'll continue.
Okay.
All right. So I have to explain something about the course and how we are going to be working from now on. So
By the
it
way,
is
teacher, how do you feel?
better.
Better?
Yeah,
Okay.
a little bit better. Yeah. Thank you.
Nice. Okay.
All right. So in this case, I don't know if somebody from Inscripciones told you or
No,
not.
no,
You
I
what? Sorry,
forgot.
you forgot. Okay. So in this case, I think you remember that originally your course was going to be
Mm-hmm.
of 45 hours. Remember?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. So in this case, you were going to have 4 different courses of 44 hours for the advanced courses. So how is it going to be now? We decided that it was better
Mm-hmm.
to have a course of 30 hours instead of 45. So now we're going to cut the course. So we finished advanced 1 on Saturday, last Saturday, and we're going
Mm-hmm.
to start advanced 2 tonight,
Okay.
today.
Okay.
And we're gonna go like that. So every course is going to be of 7 weeks instead of
Okay.
9 weeks. So
Mm-hmm.
similar to when you were in A12 or level 10, level 11. So it's gonna be the same. And
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
now when we come back to the classroom,
Mm-hmm.
instead of finishing at 1 p.m., we are going to start at 8:45 and we are going to finish at 12:40, like the rest of the courses.
Okay.
Okay. So that's what changed. You're not going to have. I mean, you're going to have 6 levels of advance, but it's the same. It's going to be the same time. You're not going to have more time or extra time to finish the book. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So let's. I don't know if you have questions about that. No.
No, not teacher.
All right. So this is the agenda that we have for today. So what we're gonna do, and this is the point number 1, is really important. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So remember that we didn't have the opportunity to do it last course, but this course we have to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We are going to discuss a little bit about the project presentation that you have to prepare for this course. We're going to see a little example
Mhm.
about it. And then we are going to talk about development, goals and ambitions.
Mhm.
And we're gonna do a listening activity, and we're going to continue practicing vocabulary.
Teacher, one question.
Yes,
This project are going to do individual or by team?
it's individually.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Now,
The project is individually.
yes,
Yeah.
it's individual.
Okay.
Yeah, the one that you have to present, because I mean, I'm gonna say this as an example, is a project presentation similar to the ones that you used to give when you were in the school, for example. So something a little bit like that.
Okay. I'm going to practice in development this project. I don't have problem.
Okay. Now, the class, we're going to have a little change. We're gonna start from 8:45 and we finish at 11:30.
Mhm.
Now, this is the calendar that we have
Okay.
for us. Okay. So in this case, we're starting today. So we are going to have
Mhm.
3 sessions which are three hours, and then we're gonna continue next Saturday, and then the 6th, and then the only day that we have to remember that we were having classes on Thursday at 7:30.
Mhm.
Okay, so now we are not going to have a class like that. Only the 11th of June and the 2nd of July. Those are the days that we're going to have classes in the week, and it's gonna be a 40-minute session similar.
Okay.
Okay, so we're not going to, like, every week we used to get together at 7:30. We're not gonna do it anymore. Okay,
Mhm.
the quizzes. You only have 2 quizzes, so it's going to be June 13, the quiz number 1,
Okay.
and if the 4th of July is going to be quiz number 2.
It's, okay.
Okay. Now the
Square. Okay. Square orange color. Okay.
yeah. Now the presentation. Everybody has to give the presentation more or less between this day and this day. Okay, so maybe we are 14 in the group, so maybe we can have 7 people giving a presentation here and 7 people giving the presentation the 13,
Okay.
so you can have more time. But we decide this next Saturday.
Mhm.
Okay. Before,
Teacher,
yes, tell me.
Teacher,
uh,
teacher, are we going to send the presentation before we performance?
You can send the presentation to me just to check it,
Okay.
but you're going to have to present it. So,
Okay. Maybe in PowerPoint or
yeah,
whatever.
definitely. I mean, you can do it in something that you are comfortable with. So if you like to work with PowerPoint, work with
Okay.
PowerPoint. Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Mhm.
teacher,
Uh,
I have a question.
yes.
Why we have sessions different sessions, sorry.
What do you mean?
I mean the date June 11 we have 2 sessions, and July 2 we have 2 sessions. Why we have 2 sessions and no 3?
Yes. In this case, the thing is that, for example, the today is Saturday, so
Mm-hmm.
this is a Saturday. May the 30th is Saturday, and this one is Saturday.
Saturday.
So we
Six,
have,
six Saturdays.
yes,
6th of June is Saturday, yeah.
Saturday. Yeah. So we have 3 hours. For example, we're gonna start from 8:45 and we finish like around 11:30. And then
Okay.
this one is the one that we have to do it during the week. Remember that we get together
Thur-
on Thursdays.
Thursday.
Okay.
Thursday. Yeah.
So in this case, we are not going to get like 3 hours on Thursdays because you have
Mhm.
work. So we're gonna do the same, maybe 40 minutes, and then
Yeah.
I'll give feedback. But we are not going to do it every week. Now we only have two days. On June the 11th,
Mhm.
yeah, and the 2nd of July.
Only one session
Yeah, only one session on
for
June.
feedback.
Yeah, or feedback. Yeah, and the other one on July the 2nd. So only those days. I don't know if you have questions with that.
No, it's okay.
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 Any other question that you guys have with this?
No.
Teacher,
Okay. Yes.
can you send us an example of the presentation?
Yes, I'm going to. I'm actually going to give an example. It is not something that I created recently. This is something that I did when I was in school. But so it might be a little bit silly, but it's something similar to what you have to do. Okay.
Okay.
In this case,
In
Uh-huh.
fact, are you going to show us some items that we include in this performance? Okay.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we're going to actually have an opportunity to work on next class on some things that we can include in the presentations. Okay.
Okay. Items. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All
Okay.
right. Okay, so what we're gonna do right now, I'm going to give you an example of a presentation.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to put you guys well, no, I'm not gonna put you on mute, but I only want you to pay attention. Remember that questions are at the end. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So this is something, the next thing is something similar to what you have to do. Well, this is what we did before.
Schedule.
Yeah. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna start with the example of the presentation. I just want you to pay attention, and again, whatever
Okay.
question that I make, you don't have to answer. I just have to continue.
Okay.
Okay. Hold on. All right, so I'm gonna start. All right, I just want you to think right now for a moment, and again, you don't have to answer. But have you ever felt that you're not part of a group? Maybe
Yeah.
that, maybe that, you know, people are very different from you, or you are very different from them, and you don't click. And
Don't click sometimes.
yes, or something like this. For example, have you ever experienced rejection,
Mhm.
or
Yeah.
again, people not trusting you in a group at work or at school?
Ooh, many times.
Who is the definition about rejection?
When the people don't love you.
Like you. Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Now, the same, like when you were younger, when you were in elementary school or in the primary school, did someone, sorry, ever try to make you feel bad?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
All right. Now, in this case, this is a different question. Has anyone ever told you that being part of something special makes you special?
Yeah.
Okay. Very good.
Mhm.
Now, I'm gonna talk a little bit about a TV show,
Glee.
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 Yeah.
Okay. Now, well, actually, this is where I got this phrase: "Being part of something special makes you special," and it says right. So it's a quote from the TV show. The reason I'm talking about this show is similar to the questions that I was telling you about.
Mhm.
It's because the show touched different points of like in this case teenagers living in the life in high school and being rejected and being like the the lowest favorite people of the world. They would always be in they were bullied a lot of time. Okay, but what it's important about this show is that it was, as I have here in the presentation, a revolutionary TV show. It opened doors to the unconventional, and it actually became a key point on TV show and on life to accept everything that was different. Okay, because the show was about that, accepting everybody who was different, no matter what. The creator was Ryan Murphy, and he actually mentioned once that the reason why he created the show was because it was 2009. It was time to accept everything that was different, and somebody needed to step up and say something like that. Okay, and this is important. Like I was saying before, you have to accept who you are, what you do, and do whatever makes you happy. Now, the show referred a lot to underdogs. Underdogs are the people who always are treated bad. Are the ones that we don't pay attention when we are at work, or they are the ones that we don't pay attention when we are at school. So the TV show actually changed that. We started noticing that everybody, no matter like how popular or no matter how underdog they were, everybody is special. Now, in this case, what was important about the show is that not only a kid, not only a teenager, were people who identified with the show, also adults. I don't know if you ever watched the show.
Some episodes, not all the
The
series.
series. Okay, so in this case, a lot of people, and again, I'm talking about kids, teenagers, adults, young adults. They would always identify with an episode or with a TV character from the show. So that was one of the things that also uh, changed TV history because a lot of people noticed that they were actually underdogs. They were not like these popular people they thought they were.
Mhm.
Everything was about accepting yourself, as it says in here, and whatever you are, whoever you are, whatever you like, you should never be ashamed of it. Okay, just be happy, and that's what it's important. That's what the TV show was about. Everyone is special, as it says in here. Now, obviously, another thing that connected the TV show with people was the fact that it included music. So, what I actually liked about the show was the fact that every story, everything that was happening, they could actually connect it to a song. So maybe if I was feeling a little bad, I would sing all by myself. Like for example,
Woo!
Rock Hard that. So I mean, everything from the Beatles to Madonna to Britney Spears to Katy Perry, everyone was included on the show, and you could see that these singers, they again, they were underdogs, so they would always make something special. Now, that this is important. Music brings people together. So maybe if I don't like my friend Patty, for example, but Patty likes music and she likes the Beatles as I like the Beatles, well, maybe that's something that can actually bring us closer. So music helps people get together even if they don't like each other.
Yeah,
And
I
Yes.
think so. Yeah.
right.
Teacher, one question.
Yes.
Underdog is the same person weak, a weak person?
Yes, an underdog is a person, not a weak person necessarily,
Okay,
but it's more
okay.
like a person who is the opposite of popular,
Okay, okay, yeah,
or
yeah.
that you don't see, like that you don't pay attention to, that you don't know that he or she exists.
Okay, okay.
Okay. Now, just to kind of like wrap this one up. In this case, something that was really important about the show was the fact that, as Ryan Murphy said, it was time for a change. The creator was the one who said this, because it was actually talking about topics that nobody wanted to talk about. Teen pregnancy, suicide, parents accepting if their kids were gay or not. They would always talk about that, and that's the important about the show, that everybody should be accepted.
Oh.
Now, well, these are just some pictures that I included. So if you see, the show was really dynamic, especially because it was surrounded by music. They went from Michael Jackson to Madonna. Sorry, yeah, to Michael Jackson. Yes, they actually went for Lady Gaga, Katy Perry. So it was about being dynamic as well. The show actually, and this is something important, because it was not only an American TV show, it was a world TV show.
Mhm.
They started in the United States, obviously, and they actually had to the opportunity to have concerts on Europe. And it's when they noticed that the show had a big impact, not only in Europe but around the world, because a lot of people were getting together for them and saying thank you for letting them accept themselves and accept others as well.
Okay.
And to finish, well, basically, all of these things is what made and what make Glee such an iconic TV show, and one that made a revolution all around the world. Because again, being part of something special makes you special, and no one can tell you otherwise. Okay? And that's it. That's the end of the presentation. So, this is something more or less that you have to do when you do your presentation here in the class.
Okay.
So, do you have questions about this?
Mhm.
Miss,
Yes.
the series or programs are talking about can also be, for example, for Netflix. So,
Yes. Well, actually, next class we're going to talk about the topics.
Whatever.
Yeah, we're gonna talk. Well, we're gonna see the topics that are more like connected to whatever we're talking about. But
Okay.
yes, we it can be about kind of like whatever. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, so it's gonna be a little bit free, but we are going to decide like all together what you want to talk about. So it can be more or less like similar, not something like way different.
Maybe a singer, maybe an actress, maybe whatever, no?
Yeah. Yes, but we'll talk about that next class, like so we can have more opportunity to share like the topics and stuff.
Okay,
Okay.
okay.
Thank you, teacher.
All right, no, you're welcome. So questions that you have about the I mean the TV show, the
No, no,
the the presentation.
no.
All right. Okay. So with this, I finished the example. and we're actually going to continue working with the new unit, which is Unit 3.
Okay.
And Unit 3 is called Development.
Okay.
What is development?
In Spanish.
Well,
No.
if you can explain it in English, it will be better.
Development is like a change in your life or a growth, personal or a course of any action.
Okay.
Development
Like-
is advanced in a work or on sometime project, no?
Like a progress in something.
Yes, actually, yeah, that would be one of the keywords. Progress.
Mhm.
It's about making progress. Okay. Now, well, we have actually, before I continue with this question, we have this quote from this man. Okay, we're going to be working with him, especially in the TED Talk videos. So it says, and the strategy is that the 2 billion struggling for food and shoes, they are still almost as poor as they were 50 years ago. What do you guys understand from this quote? What do you think is it talking about? Who do you?
Okay.
Is a man rich where fortune is vested or in the make food and shoes?
Okay. Now, who do you think are the 2 million that
2
he's
million.
talking about?
In Spanish is in 2 million son 2,000 millones.
Yeah, but who do you think he's talking about? Like what people? Because, uh-huh.
The poor people.
Yes. Yes.
Poor people.
Exactly. So he's talking about like the 2 billion, sorry, people who right now are poor, are pretty much the same people who were poor 50 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay. Like this minority that we have on the world. Can you think of a country that is really poor and it has been poor for more than 50 years or 50 years?
Cuba.
Okay.
Cuba, Bangladesh, Marruecos, Sri Lanka, whatever.
Yes. Now, these
Mexico,
are
some part of Mexico too, eh?
yeah, some parts of Mexico,
Yeah.
Africa. Yeah.
Mhm.
Now, I have these 2 questions, and I don't want you to answer right now. But question number 1 is, what is the world population now, and what do you think it will be by 2050? And question number 2, what are some problems that dramatic population growth can cause? These are question 1 and question 2. Sorry. I want you to take a moment. I'm gonna give you literally 1 minute to
Okay.
think about this, and I want you to share as a group. We're gonna do it as a group, and we're gonna take turns and share what you think about these 2 questions. Okay? So I'm gonna give you 1 minute to think, and then I'm going to ask you to share your thoughts.
Mhm.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're gonna do this. I'm going to ask Cecilia, Juan Carlos, Reynaldo, and Sandra to give me your opinion about question number 1. Like, what is the world population now? And what do you think it will be by 2050? So, I don't know who wants to start.
Me.
Okay?
Well, what is the world population now? Is a sobrepopulation. So I don't know who we
Overpopulation.
overpopulation.
Mhm.
And what do you think it will be in 2050? I think maybe in this year, 2050
Uh-huh.
or 250.
2050. Uh-huh.
Maybe the population will be increased
Okay.
more because all the countries have different laws, and I think in the countries don't have a law about the members of the family.
Okay.
I think it is a good law, like China, I believe. China have the law about one family more one family must no one family can have 2 members extra, something like that,
Yes.
for how would you say evitar,
Avoid.
To avoid
Wait,
to avoid the overpopulation.
overpopulation.
Overpopulation, sorry.
Okay. Very good. Anything that you want to add to what Cecilia mentioned, guys? Or do you agree?
the number 2 or number 1?
And number 1.
Number 1. Pues the what is the world population now is when you speak Cecilia is the word, so every population are cause for the government to never rules
Okay.
for attacks is the problem.
Okay. Very good. So yeah, not having control on that as well.
Yes, and I having no have it control for the crecimiento the
The
people,
growth.
the growth the people
Okay.
Okay.
in our country.
Juan Carlos.
Question 1.
Okay.
Well, the current world population is about 6.5 billion of persons in the world. I make question. We expect a population by 2050. No, to 2050 of 9.7 billion of person in the world. This is terrible because maybe cause shortage of food. Shortage is like I was saying, shortage of food and
Shortage is like something short. Yeah.
okay. So shortage in food, and in some people maybe can to die to starving.
Yeah, they can starve. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
I think so. No? Contamination, pollution,
Yeah,
whatever.
also
of-
it's gonna be
it's,
part of it.
it's a consequence of
Mhm.
the many people in the world.
Yes. Now, who wants to from like we have Daniel Ramirez, it's Pamela, right?
Yes.
Okay, Pamela, Alberto, Iram, or Oscar, who wants to share something from question number 2? What do you think are more some of the problems that dramatic population growth can cause?
Um,
Like, what do you think about problems that will
Uh,
happen around the world if there are a lot of people?
mm, for example, I think the population, I don't know, in many problems or social problems. Um, in
Okay.
the, for example, I don't know, problems, the causes for the man, um, contamination, or I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yes, yes, yes. I mean, pretty much those are like the main problems that we know that
Yes.
I mean we can predict that they can happen. Do the rest? Do you have something else you want to add to this question? No. Okay.
Teacher,
Teacher.
go, go,
Iram?
go. Oh, yes. And well, good morning.
Yeah. Good morning.
And
Good morning.
in the question number 1, I think we are in the limit of population limit to support that work, this work.
Yes.
And I think in 2050 we have or will have overpopulation, and that cause problems like pollution,
Mm-hmm.
dramatic pollution, or problems which affect all the world in several types.
Yes.
Maybe the resources
Uh-huh.
to the human, maybe resources to the animals and plants
Yes.
it, will be affected
By this.
that is. And I think we will have or we will to need to create other forms to live to the human.
Definitely.
Maybe invented
It meant something.
machines to clean water, ocean water, or to make other food, special food, and I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I think that is my opinion.
Yes. Okay. Now, before we continue, I'm going to end the meeting, and I want you to click again on the link so we can continue because it's almost time that it's going to stop.
Okay.
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 So let's stop this one and click again on the link.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you.